I wanted to share a little bit about what led me to write The Rise of Rage. It's a question that comes up often, and I write about that a little bit in the introduction. So I just want to share that little bit with you. Again, reading from the introduction in The Rise of Rage. It's been a trip. From the launch of my career in mental health, I've spent countless hours deepening my understanding of anger, its process, and its many forms of expression. Much of what I've learned is distilled in the pages that follow, supported by research and bolstered by stories informed by my professional and personal experience. For better than 10 years as an educator in the post-secondary space, I encountered many adult students who struggled with emotional regulation and coping with their big feelings. When you primarily teach subjects in psychology, students innately get that you understand their situation, and that results in them sharing loads of personal information. Students disclosed their struggles with depression and the pressure placed on them by an entire community to be successful in school because that community had invested to make their post-secondary studies possible. Students had psychotic breaks, uttered death threats, and openly shared their worst trauma experiences while in my classes. Many of my secondary school age students were homeless, abused, traumatized, forced to be adults and caretakers when they were still in their teens, trying desperately to adapt to a world they did not understand, and trapped in cycles of addiction before their brains had fully matured. In my role as a registered psychotherapist and mental health worker, I've encountered all manner of clients, parents, grandparents, kids, siblings, whole families, criminal offenders, victims of crime, law enforcement, emergency responders, military veterans, couples, addicts, displaced persons. You name the mental health challenge, I've probably encountered it. Depression, anxiety, post-traumatic stress, chronic pain, childhood sexual abuse, addiction to drugs, addiction to gaming, addiction to pornography, compulsive sexual behavior, alcoholism, brain injury, stroke recovery, grief, bullying in schools, bullying at work, workers' compensation claims, motor vehicle accident recovery, coping with and recovering from narcissistic abuse, complex trauma, suicidal ideation, fetal alcohol syndrome in adults, suicidality, and the list goes on. As a corporate trainer and public speaker, I've encountered bullying and harassment cases that have resulted in people acquiring severe physical disabilities. I've talked with people racked by grief and visible, palpable anger because someone they loved left them by passing away. I've watched as employers bulldoze their way through team meetings, hurling insults, uttering threats, and calling it motivation. I've seen how office politics and abuse of power can decimate a team and pulverize productivity. I've seen what happens when policies are written but not enforced, and I have witnessed the fallout after one bad seed is empowered to poison the corporate culture. All of this informs why I do what I do and why I'm committed to leveraging individuals, families, and organizations into radical, positive, lasting change. It isn't enough for me to just listen and be supportive of my clients. They come to me because I'm committed to working myself out of a job. What that looks like for me is that I equip clients with the knowledge, skills, and abilities they need to handle the stressors and challenges in their lives so effectively that they no longer need me. The greatest gift my calling and vocation give me is seeing my clients emerge from their cocoons, beautiful, transformed, and ready to fly. I wanted to share that with you because I think it's important, when writers commit themselves to putting out something like this, it really is very much like giving birth to a child. We labor over it. We cultivate the words. We mess around with them. We make sure that the messaging is clear. We make sure that the heart of what we're trying to communicate is transferred effectively onto the page so that our readers can get a taste of what's going on up here. And I always like to share why I've written a book. And I think that's perhaps, you've heard all of that in terms of my life and my work experience. And I hope that communicates to you why this book is so important to me and why it's so special to me. This is a distillation of my life's work, literally. It is the first time that I have really dug deep into the research. I've always been aware of the research, but I've never distilled it in such a way that it surrounds and wraps around the process that I've developed called Anger Solutions. So if that resonates with you at all, if any of that story resonates with you, and you want to know more, please pick up your copy of The Rise of Rage. You can go to Amazon.com or Amazon.ca or any of your favorite online book retailers, whether that's Indigo, Chapters, Barnes and Noble, um, Waterstones, Kohl's, any of those bookstores, and you will find it there. You can pre-order it and it will get shipped out to you on the 13th of February. In some cases, you might actually get it early. Someone emailed me today and said, I got your book today. And I was like, that's interesting. I haven't got mine yet. But hey, if people are getting theirs early, please post that book mail and show those pictures. Let's build the buzz and let's get this book into the hands of as many people as possible because we need to understand what the heck is going on. And we need some practical tools to help us regulate our emotions effectively and to solve the problems rather than focusing on the people.